Okay, guys, this is much better. We're back. We're back to heading in the right direction. I'm not going to worry about this splash of light catching the water. That was a bad decision. We're going to worry about more the reflection of colors from the sky. So the water is now getting more than just a nod, or more than giving just a nod to the colors in the sky. Putting in a bit of structure here. We're going to fade off. We're going to keep fading off to darker purple back here. Well, to what we have basically. I'm going to rearrange this shape of the foreground a bit. Anyway, just a real quick video. This was what I had back here. That was just, I don't know. You know, this slice of water became too much like the rocks, and it was too cold. You know, having this water quite warm really makes the whole painting warmer. And what I like about it is it isolates this band of rock from the rest of the painting. Now, that's going to be reintroduced, these colors down in the foreground here, but it still isolates, you know, this landmass from the water and the sky. I like it. It gives it more strength, more character. I don't want these blues in the sky. I've gone a hint of green back here as we go off into the distance. That's okay. And these rocks, they need a little bit of work here and there. Everything needs a little bit of work here and there. I got a question in the comments regarding how quickly the oil paint dries. Now, in my studio, I have a gas heater that's only about it's a gas fireplace. The painting is only about 5 feet from the gas fireplace. I keep it warm in here all day when I'm working. So that helps the paint to dry pretty quickly. Now, of course, I scraped off all that pale, what was it, ultramarine blue, white, and yellow ochre. Then I used this archival toilet paper. Archival toilet paper. It's from one of the pharaohs' pyramids in Egypt. That's how archival it is. Anyway, 2 is draw oil and pigment. And that was yesterday. Today it's about the same time of the day, so 24 hours later. And I would not call the paint that I wouldn't call the surface dry, but I would say it was dry to the touch. You know, if you applied finger pressure to it or twisted your finger at all, you'd get a bit of paint on your finger. But it was dry to the touch, which is dry enough for me to have gone in and corrected this, because I can lay paint over it and it doesn't mix with the paint that was sitting down there already. Sorry, I'm just leaning into the picture here all the time. But how quickly, with oil paints, how quickly the paint dries really depends a lot on, well, obviously atmospheric conditions. Low humidity, some heat, and a little bit of air movement really speeds things up. If I set this in my garage, where these days it's not really getting much over, 10 Celsius or 8 Celsius during the day, it would be just as wet today as it was yesterday. Second to the drying conditions is the color. Some colors dry much more quickly than others. For example, and it also depends on the company you buy the paint from, but typically it's been my experience that you add raw umber to any color, it's going to speed up the drying of that color. Raw umber on its own dries very quickly, forms a skin quickly, dries quickly. Ultramarine blue, so-so. Alizarin crimson's very slow dryer. Cad yellow pale, again, depending on the company. I've had some cad yellow pale that stays wet for a long time on the palette, but I apply it to the canvas and thin it off, and it dries very quickly. Now, the stuff I'm using now dries extremely quickly. Cad yellow medium, same thing. Titanium white is a slow dryer. Thankfully, I really like, one of the reasons I like oil paint is that, it doesn't dry that quickly. It gives you time to play, you know. I've used raw umber, not with the knife, because when I'm painting with the knife, I'm usually laying on the color thick enough that even raw umber will not dry the same day. But I have had it where I've laid some strokes on in the morning, and by late in the afternoon or by evening, it's already become dry. I think I'm blithering. But yeah, it's dependent on the color and of course the conditions. It's not like acrylic. You can't just paint over it. It's more forgiving in some ways, and it's a lot less forgiving in others. Happy Saturday. Talk to you soon.